Marcus Chen crouched behind a pile of twisted metal, trying to stay quiet. His hands shook as he pressed them against the cold ground. 3 days had passed since his research ship crashed on this terrible planet. 3 days of hiding and running from the monsters who ruled this world. The planet Kethvar was nothing like the peaceful worlds Marcus knew. Here, the Vorthak Empire controlled everything. The Vorthak were tall, gray-skinned creatures with sharp teeth and cruel yellow eyes. They took other species as slaves and treated them worse than animals. Marcus heard heavy footsteps coming closer. He held his breath and pressed himself deeper into the shadows. Through a crack in the metal, he could see into the open area ahead. What he saw made his blood turn cold. A Vorthak soldier stood in the middle of the space. He was huge, almost 8 feet tall, with thick muscles under his gray skin. In his hand, he held a weapon that looked like a metal stick with electricity running through it. This was a pain stick, Marcus knew. The Vorthak used them to hurt slaves. Near the soldier's feet sat a small creature. It looked like a child, but not human. The child had blue-green skin that seemed to glow softly. Large, dark eyes filled most of its face. Its thin body shook with fear. This was a Zilani, Marcus realized. He had read about them in his studies. They were a peaceful race that lived far from Earth. Standing nearby was an adult Zilani. She looked like the child, but taller. Her skin had the same soft glow, and her eyes were filled with tears. She kept reaching toward the child, but 2 other Vorthak soldiers held her back. "Please," the adult Zilani said in broken words. "Please, he is just a child. He meant no harm." The big soldier laughed. It was a horrible sound, like metal scraping against stone. "This little thief took food that belongs to the Empire. The punishment is death. Death." "No," the mother cried. "He was hungry. Please take me instead." The soldier raised his pain stick. The child looked up with those huge, dark eyes. Marcus could see that the little one knew what was coming. The child was trying to be brave, but his small body trembled. Marcus closed his eyes. This was not his fight. He was just one human, lost and alone on a hostile world. If he stayed hidden, maybe he could find a way to escape. Maybe he could get back to human space and tell others what he had seen. But when he opened his eyes and saw the child again, something inside him broke. This was wrong. It was evil. And Marcus could not watch it happen. Before he could think about what he was doing, Marcus stood up and walked out of his hiding place. The Vorthak soldiers turned to stare at him. He must have looked strange to them. A human in torn clothes, covered in dirt and cuts from his crash. "Wait," Marcus said, his voice stronger than he felt. "That child stole from me." The big soldier lowered his weapon slightly. "What did you say, human?" Marcus walked closer, even though every part of him wanted to run. "The food he took was mine. According to Vorthak law, I have the right to punish my own property." This was a lie. Marcus had never owned anything on this planet, but he had learned some things about Vorthak law during his research. They respected strength and ownership above all else. The soldier smiled, showing his sharp teeth. "You want to punish the child yourself?" "Yes," Marcus said. "Give me your pain stick." The adult Zilani stared at Marcus with wide eyes. She could not understand why this stranger was getting involved. The other soldiers laughed and whispered to each other in their harsh language. The big soldier thought for a moment. Then he grinned. "Very well, human. But I will not give you my weapon. If you want to punish the thief, you will take the beating yourself. Show us how humans handle discipline." Marcus felt his heart pound. This was not what he had planned. But he looked at the child again, and knew he could not back down now. "Fine," Marcus said, "but the child goes free." "Agreed," the soldier said. "You take his punishment, and the little thief lives." The other soldiers formed a circle. They wanted to watch the show. The adult Zelani tried to speak, but Marcus shook his head. He walked to the center of the circle and looked down at the small child. "Run," he whispered. "Go to your mother." The child scrambled across the ground to the adult Zelani. She pulled him close, still staring at Marcus with confusion. And something else. Hope. Maybe. The big soldier stepped forward with his pain stick. "Ready, human?" Marcus nodded. The first strike hit his back like lightning. Pain shot through his whole body, and he fell to his knees. The second strike came before he could catch his breath. Then, the third. Each hit felt like fire burning through his skin. Marcus bit his tongue to keep from screaming. He could taste blood in his mouth. The soldiers laughed and called out encouragement to their friend. Through the pain, Marcus could see the Zelani mother watching him. Her large eyes were filled with tears. But now, they were different tears. She was looking at him like she had never seen anything like him before. The beating continued. Marcus lost count of the strikes. His vision started to go dark. The pain was everywhere now, burning through every nerve in his body. But he did not cry out. He did not beg them to stop. The last thing Marcus saw before darkness took him was the face of the small Zelani child. The little one was safe in his mother's arms, alive because a stranger had chosen to suffer in his place. When Marcus fell unconscious to the ground, the Vorthok soldiers stopped laughing. They looked down at the human who had taken a beating meant to kill a child and somehow survived it. Even they had to admit they had never seen anything like this before. Marcus woke up slowly. His whole body felt like it was on fire. Every muscle ached, and his skin burned where the pain stick had hit him. He tried to move, but gentle hands pushed him back down. "Stay still," a soft voice said. "You need rest." Marcus opened his eyes. He was lying on a thin mat in a dark room. The walls were made of rough stone, and the air smelled old and damp. This was not like any place he had seen before. Sitting next to him was the adult Zelani from before. Up close, Marcus could see that her blue-green skin had tiny patterns that moved like waves. Her large eyes watched him with worry, and something else he could not name. "Where am I?" Marcus asked. His voice came out as a whisper. "Slave quarters," she said in slow, careful words. "My people brought you here. You were dying." Marcus tried to sit up again, but the pain was too much. The Zelani woman put a cool, wet cloth on his forehead. Her touch was gentle, and somehow it made the pain less sharp. "Why?" she asked. "Why did you help my child?" Marcus looked around the room. He could see other Zelani moving in the shadows. They were all thin and looked tired, but they watched him with curious eyes. None of them seemed afraid of him, which was strange. Most aliens were careful around humans. "I could not watch," Marcus said. "It was wrong." The woman tilted her head. "Wrong? Many species see Vorthak punishment. They do nothing. They say it is not their problem." "Well, it was wrong," Marcus said, again. He did not know how else to explain it. A small shape moved near the wall. It was the child Marcus had saved. The little Zelani crept closer, staying behind his mother but watching Marcus with those huge dark eyes. "This is Kethrin," the woman said. "My son, the one you saved." "Is he okay?" Marcus asked. "He lives because of you," she said. "I am Silthara. I was healer on my world. Before," she gestured around the dark room. "Before this." Marcus tried to understand. "You were a doctor?" Silthara nodded. "I fix hurts. But here, I have little to work with. Only plants that grow in dark places. But I kept you alive." "Thank you," Marcus said. Over the next few days, Marcus learned about the Zelani and their terrible life on Kethvar. Silthara explained that her people were taken from their home world 5 years ago. The Vorthok wanted them as slaves because Zelani had special abilities. We feel what others feel, Silthara said. Happy, sad, angry, we know it all. Vorthak use this. When they are angry, they bring Zelani to make them calm. When they are sad, they take our happiness. That sounds awful, Marcus said. It is worse for children, Silthara continued. Their abilities are stronger. Vorthak pay much for young Zelani. They take them to big cities, far from family. Marcus watched little Kethrin playing with small stones in the corner. The child had not spoken since Marcus woke up, but he stayed close. Sometimes Kethrin would come over and touch Marcus's hurt places with his tiny hands. When he did this, the pain became less. He likes you, Silthara said. This is strange. Kethrin is afraid of most people now. But with you, he is different. Maybe because I helped him? Marcus suggested. No, Silthara said, shaking her head. It is more. He feels something in you that is good, pure. This is rare. As Marcus got stronger, Silthara taught him about Zelani culture. She told him about their beautiful home world, covered in singing forests and crystal rivers. She explained their old ways of healing and peacemaking. In return, Marcus told her about humans and Earth. He described cities and oceans, mountains and deserts. He talked about human families and how they took care of each other. Silthara listened with wonder. Your people sound kind, she said. Like Zelani, but different. Some are kind, Marcus said. Some are not so kind. But most humans believe in protecting children, no matter what. This is why you helped Kethrin? Yes, Marcus said. And because it was right. Marcus also learned about the other slaves. There were many species here. Some he had heard of, others completely unknown. All of them had been taken from their homes to work in the mines or serve the Vorthak in other ways. The days were hard for everyone. They worked long hours digging in the underground tunnels, looking for rare metals. The Vorthak guards were cruel and quick to use their pain sticks. Food was little and bad. Many slaves got sick and died. But Marcus also saw something else. The slaves helped each other when they could. They shared food, tended the sick, and comforted those who cried for their lost families. Even in this terrible place, kindness existed. Kethrin began to trust Marcus more each day. The child would sit next to him during the short rest periods. Sometimes Kethrin would put his small hand in Marcus's bigger one. When this happened, Marcus could feel a strange warmth, like sunlight in his mind. He is sharing his feelings with you, Silthara explained. This is very special. Most Zelani only do this with family. Why me? Marcus asked. Because you gave yourself to save him, she said. To Kethrin, this makes you family. One evening, as Marcus was almost fully healed, Silthara sat beside him with a serious expression. I must tell you something, she said. Tomorrow, Vorthak officers come. They look for strong slaves to take to other worlds. If they see you, they will take me away? Marcus asked. Yes, and they will ask questions. How did human get here? Why are you with Zelani slaves? This will be dangerous for all of us. Marcus thought about this. He could try to hide, but the slave quarters were small. He could try to escape, but where would he go? He was one person on a whole planet of enemies. But looking at Silthara and Kethrin, Marcus realized he did not want to leave them. In these few days, they had become important to him. The thought of never seeing them again made him feel empty inside. What if I do not want to go? Marcus asked. Silthara looked surprised. You want to stay? Here? In this place? I want to stay with you and Kethrin, Marcus said. You saved my life. You took care of me when you did not have to. And Kethrin. He looked at the child, who was listening even though he pretended to play. Kethrin needs someone to protect him. Silthara's eyes filled with tears. You would choose this life? This darkness? I would choose to stay with people who matter to me, Marcus said. That night, as Marcus lay on his mat, he felt Catherine curl up next to him like a small, warm animal. The child's breathing was soft and peaceful. For the first time since his ship crashed, Marcus felt like he belonged somewhere. He did not know what tomorrow would bring, but he knew he had found something worth fighting for. The next morning brought terrible news. Silthara woke Marcus before the other slaves stirred. Her face was pale, and her hands shook as she spoke. Bad news comes from the guards, she whispered. Battle Lord Zektar arrives today. He chooses children for his collection. Noning tone. Marcus sat up quickly. What kind of collection? Rich Vorthok keeps Zelani children as pets, Silthara said, her voice breaking. They take them far away. The children never see family again. They live in golden cages, but die inside. Marcus felt anger rise in his chest like a hot fire. They cannot take Catherine. They can, Silthara said. Battle lords take what they want. No one stops them. She pointed to the corner where Catherine still slept. Even in his dreams, the child's skin glowed softly. Marcus could see why the Vorthak valued him. Catherine's empathic abilities were strong, even for a Zelani. You must escape, Silthara said suddenly. Take your knowledge of this place to your people. Tell them what happens here. Maybe someday they can help. No, Marcus said firmly. I will not leave you. Marcus, please understand. If you stay, you die. If you go, maybe there is hope for others. Marcus looked around the slave quarters. Other families were waking up, preparing for another day of suffering. Parents held their children close, knowing any day might be the last time. But Marcus was not thinking about escape. He was thinking about the mining facility above them. During his recovery, he had learned much about how this place worked. The slaves mined rare metals that powered Vorthak ships. The facility had shields that blocked all outside signals. It had guards and weapons, and seemed impossible to attack. But Marcus was a scientist. He understood technology, and he had noticed something the Vorthak had missed. Silthara, he said slowly. How often do the storms come? She looked confused. The electric storms? Every few days. Why? During the storms, do the shields stay up? Yes, but they flicker sometimes. The lightning is very strong. Marcus felt excitement building in his mind. It was a crazy idea, but it might work. I need to talk to the other slaves. All of them. What are you planning? Silthara asked. Something stupid, Marcus said. But it might save Catherine. Over the next few hours, Marcus quietly spoke to slaves from different species. He learned about their work areas, their schedules, and their knowledge of the facility. Many had been here for years and knew things the guards did not think important. There was Grex, a strong reptilian creature who worked in the power systems. There was Mira, a small furry being who cleaned the communication arrays. There was Old Talk, a wise creature who remembered when the facility was first built. Marcus shared his plan with them. It was dangerous and would likely fail. But if it worked, it might bring help from the outside. You want us to revolt? Grex asked. We are slaves. They have weapons. Not a revolt, Marcus said. A distraction. While they deal with problems in the mines, I get to the communication center. I send a signal during the next storm when the shields are weak. And then what? Mira asked. Even if your people get the signal, we are far from human space. Any ship in the area will hear it, Marcus said. Maybe military ships. Maybe traders. Someone will investigate. You think too much like human, Old Talk said. Vorthok kill all slaves if revolt happens. They will kill the children anyway, Marcus said. At least this gives us a chance. The slaves looked at each other. They were tired and broken people who had lost hope long ago. but something in Marcus's voice made them think. Here was someone who had suffered to save a child he did not even know. Maybe he could be trusted. If we do this, Grex said, we do it for the children. Yes, Marcus said, for all of them. That afternoon, Battle Lord Zektar arrived. He was even bigger than the normal Vorthak soldiers, with scars covering his gray skin and gold rings piercing his face. He walked through the slave quarters like he owned everything he saw. When he reached the Zelani section, his yellow eyes lit up with greed. He pointed at 3 children, including Kethryn. These ones, he growled. Prepare them for transport tomorrow. Silthara fell to her knees. Please, great battle lord. Take me instead. I am older and stronger. Zektar laughed. I have no use for broken adults. The children will serve me well. That night, as the electric storm began to build in the sky above, Marcus put his plan into action. The storm was perfect. Huge lightning bolts lit the darkness, and thunder shook the ground. First, Grex caused an overload in the mine power systems. Lights went out in the underground tunnels, and emergency alarms began to sound. Guards rushed to deal with what looked like a cave-in. Then Mira triggered a false contamination alert in the upper levels. More guards left their posts to investigate. Old Talk started a fight between 2 groups of slaves in the far section. The remaining guards went to stop the violence. This left the communication center with only 2 guards. Marcus waited until a huge lightning bolt struck nearby, making the shields flicker. Then he ran. The first guard saw him coming and raised his weapon. Marcus tackled him, fighting desperately for the pain stick. They rolled on the ground, each trying to gain control. Marcus was smaller, but he fought with the fury of someone protecting his family. The second guard joined the fight. Marcus felt the pain stick hit his shoulder, sending fire through his arm. But he did not stop. He grabbed a metal tool from the floor and struck back. Finally, both guards lay unconscious. Marcus stumbled to the communication console. His hands shook as he entered commands. Outside, lightning continued to strike, and the shields flickered like a broken light. This is Marcus Chen, Human Research Vessel Meridian. He spoke into the transmitter. Emergency on Kethvar mining facility. Coordinates follow. Massive slave operation. Request immediate assistance. He repeated the message 3 times, sending it on all emergency frequencies. Then, he heard boots running toward his location. When the Vorthak soldiers burst in, they found Marcus standing over their unconscious comrades. He did not try to run. There was nowhere to go. Take him, the lead soldier ordered. Battlelord wants to question him personally. As they dragged Marcus away, he hoped his message had gotten through the storm. But even if it had not, he felt no regret. He had tried. For Kethryn, for Silthara, for all the children who deserved to grow up free. In the slave quarters, Silthara held her son close and watched the lightning through a small window. She did not know what Marcus had done, but she felt something change in the air around them. Hope, she realized. For the first time in years, she felt hope. And deep in her heart, she made a decision that would surprise everyone, including herself. If Marcus had given everything to save her child, she would give everything to save Marcus. Marcus hung in chains in the Battle Lord's chamber. His shoulders screamed with pain, and blood dripped from fresh wounds. Zektar had been questioning him for hours, demanding to know how a human had reached Kethvar and why he helped the slaves. You will die slowly. Zektar growled, raising his pain stick again. But first, you will watch me take the Zelani children. Your sacrifice means nothing. Marcus spat blood and looked the Battle Lord in the eyes. You are wrong. It means everything. Before Zektar could strike again, alarms began screaming throughout the facility. Red lights flashed, and the sound of explosions echoed from somewhere above. What is that? Zektar demanded, turning to his guards. A soldier rushed into the chamber. "Battle Lord! Ships are attacking! Many ships!" Zektar's face went pale. "What ships? From where?" "Human ships, my lord." "And others?" "They came from hyperspace." Without warning. Through the chamber windows, Marcus could see bright flashes lighting up the dark sky. Explosions bloomed like deadly flowers as weapons fired back and forth. His signal had worked. Someone had come. "Impossible," Zektar snarled. "Our shields should have hidden this place." "The shields failed during the storm, my lord. The human's signal got through." Zektar spun around to face Marcus. "You did this." "Yes," Marcus said, though his voice was weak. The Battle Lord raised his weapon to kill Marcus, but another explosion shook the building. The lights went out, leaving only the red emergency glow. "My lord," another soldier called. "The human ships are landing ground forces. They know about the slaves. They demand surrender." "Never," Zektar roared. "Kill all the slaves. If I cannot have them, no one can." But before his soldiers could move, something strange happened. A soft, beautiful sound filled the air. It was like singing, but not with voices. It was pure emotion made into sound, love, hope, and fierce protection all woven together. Marcus knew that sound. It was Silthara. The Zelani woman appeared in the doorway of the chamber. Her skin glowed brighter than Marcus had ever seen, and her eyes blazed with determination. Behind her came other Zelani, all adding their voices to the song. "What is this?" Zektar demanded. Silthara walked forward, never stopping her song. The Vorthak soldiers tried to raise their weapons, but they began to stumble. The song was affecting them, making them feel confused and dizzy. "This is the song of binding," Silthara said, her voice somehow clear over the beautiful sound. "A ritual as old as our people." She reached Marcus and placed her hands on his face. The moment she touched him, Marcus felt something incredible happen. It was like a warm light flowing between them, connecting their minds and hearts. "I bind my life to yours," Silthara said, looking into Marcus's eyes. "As you gave yourself for my child, I give myself for you. Let no one break what we have chosen." The song grew louder, and Marcus felt the connection strengthen. He could feel Silthara's emotions, her love for Kethrin, her gratitude to Marcus, her hope for the future, and she could feel his determination to protect them, his growing love for their small family, his willingness to die for them. "Stop this!" Zektar shouted. He swung his pain stick at Silthara, but the weapon never connected. Kethrin appeared, small and glowing with power Marcus had never seen before. The child's eyes blazed with blue light, and when he touched the Battle Lord's arm, Zektar screamed and dropped his weapon. "Feel what we feel," Kethrin said in a voice older than his years. "Feel every hurt you have given." Zektar fell to his knees, overwhelmed by years of pain and suffering that he had caused others. The other Vorthak soldiers backed away in terror. The song of binding reached its peak, and Marcus felt the connection with Silthara lock into place. They were bound now, linked in a way that could not be broken without destroying them both. "It is done," Silthara said. "By the old laws that even Vorthak respect, you cannot kill one of us without killing both. And killing me would destroy a valuable slave." Zektar looked up with rage and confusion. "You would throw away your life for this human?" "He threw away his life for my son," Silthara said simply. "This is what family does." Before anyone could respond, the chamber doors exploded inward. Human soldiers in battle armor rushed in, followed by troops from other species. Marcus had never been so happy to see his own kind. "Nobody move," the lead human shouted. Her voice was familiar, and when she removed her helmet, Marcus saw Captain Sarah Okafor, his old colleague from the research service. "Sarah," Marcus whispered. hardly believing his eyes. "Marcus, thank God you are alive." She looked around the chamber, taking in the scene. Marcus in chains, the terrified Vorthak, and the glowing Zelani family. "What the hell happened here?" "Long story," Marcus said. "But these people saved me." Captain Okafor's soldiers quickly freed Marcus from his chains and secured the Vorthok prisoners. Battlelord Zektar was still on the ground, shaking from Kethrin's empathic attack. "The slaves," Marcus said urgently. "You have to free all the slaves." "Already happening," Sarah assured him. "We found the slave quarters first. Medical teams are treating the wounded, and transport ships are standing by." Quote, as they helped Marcus walk from the chamber, Silthara stayed close to his side. The bond between them was still new and strong, and being apart felt painful. "Captain," Marcus said, "I need to tell you something important. Silthara and we have been bound by Zelani ritual. We cannot be separated." Sarah looked confused. "Bound how?" "Their life forces are connected," Kethrin explained in his strange adult voice. "If one dies, the other dies too. It cannot be undone easily." Sarah stared at them. "Marcus, do you understand what this means?" Marcus looked at Silthara and felt her emotions flowing through their connection. He felt her love for Kethrin, her gratitude, her hope for a future together, and underneath it all, something new, the beginning of love for him. "Yes," Marcus said. "It means I have found my family." Later, aboard the human ship Indomitable, Marcus learned the full scope of what his signal had accomplished. It had not just brought rescue ships. It had sparked a galaxy-wide investigation into Vorthak slave operations. "Your message reached a Galactic Council patrol," Sarah explained as medical teams treated his wounds. "When they arrived and saw what was happening here, they contacted every major military force in the sector. And they all came?" "Marcus, what the Vorthak were doing here violates every civilized law in the galaxy. When word gets out, it will change everything." But Marcus was not thinking about galactic politics. He was watching Silthara help tend to other rescued slaves, her gentle hands healing their wounds and her voice comforting their fears. Kethrin stayed close to both of them, creating a small circle of warmth and safety. Through their bond, Marcus could feel Silthara's thoughts. She was thinking about him too, wondering what their strange new connection would mean. The future was uncertain, but for the first time in years, it was also full of hope. "What happens now?" "Marcus," asked Sarah. "Now? Now we go home," she said. 6 months had passed since the rescue on Kethvar. Marcus stood at the window of the space station orbiting Earth, watching ships come and go in the busy traffic lanes. His reflection showed a man who looked older but somehow more complete than before. Behind him, Silthara sat at a desk, working on translation programs for the Galactic Council. Her blue-green skin had regained its healthy glow, and she wore the simple robes of a council diplomat. The bond between them had grown stronger over time, creating a connection deeper than either had expected. "The council meeting starts in 1 hour," she said without looking up. "Are you ready?" "As ready as I can be," Marcus replied. Today, they would decide their future. Kethrin played quietly in the corner with toys that human children had sent him from Earth. The young Zelani had grown in the months since their rescue, not just in size, but in confidence. His empathic abilities had stabilized, no longer overwhelming him with others' emotions. The door chimed, and Captain Okafor entered. She had been promoted after the Kethvar incident, and now worked as a liaison between human forces and the Galactic Council. "Time to go," Sarah said. "The representatives are waiting." They walked together through the station corridors. Other beings nodded respectfully as they passed. Marcus had become something of a celebrity in certain circles. His story had spread throughout known space, inspiring changes in how species treated each other. The council chamber was enormous, with representatives from dozens of worlds. At the center sat the High Arbitrator, an ancient being whose species had helped found the galactic community thousands of years ago. Marcus Chen, the arbitrator said, in a voice like distant thunder. You have brought a difficult question before this council. Yes, arbitrator, Marcus said, standing at the speaker's podium. You wish to remain bonded to the Zelani Silthara and to formally adopt her child as your own. This would make you the first human to join a Zelani family unit. That is correct. And you understand that this bond is permanent? That separating it would likely kill you both? Marcus felt Silthara's presence in his mind, warm and reassuring. I understand. And I choose it freely. The arbitrator turned to Silthara. And you, healer? You could have this bond dissolved with time and meditation. Your people's experts have confirmed this. Why do you refuse? Silthara stood and walked to stand beside Marcus. Because this human showed my son what love looks like. He proved that family is not about blood or species. It is about choice. I choose Marcus as my bondmate, and I choose to make our family complete. And the child? Kethren stepped forward. He was still small, but he spoke with the wisdom that trauma and healing had given him. Marcus is my father now. He saved me and loved me when he did not have to. I want to stay with both of them. The arbitrator was quiet for a long moment. Around the chamber, representatives whispered among themselves. This was not just about one family. It was about setting precedent for the future. There is another matter, the arbitrator said. The Galactic Council has offered you a position, Marcus Chen. You would serve as special envoy for interspecies family relations, working to protect enslaved and displaced children throughout the galaxy. Marcus felt his heart jump. This was the job offer that could change everything. The position would require constant travel, the arbitrator continued. You would investigate reports of abuse, negotiate for the freedom of enslaved children, and help establish new protection protocols. It is dangerous work. I would not do it alone, Marcus said, looking at his family. Silthara's skills as a healer and diplomat would be invaluable. And Kethren. The boy's empathic abilities could help identify children in distress, Silthara added. We could work together. You would take a child into dangerous situations? A representative asked. I would take my son to places where he can help other children. Marcus corrected. Kethren has seen the worst that can happen. Now, he wants to help prevent it for others. The boy nodded. I want to help kids like me, kids who are scared and alone. The council deliberated for 3 hours. Marcus, Silthara, and Kethren waited in a small room nearby. Through their bond, Marcus could feel Silthara's nervousness mixed with excitement. She had told him privately that she dreamed of this kind of work, using her healing abilities to help children across the galaxy. When they were called back, the arbitrator's expression was unreadable. The council has reached a decision, the ancient being announced. We recognize the bond between Marcus Chen and Silthara as legally binding under both human and Zelani law. We approve the adoption of Kethren as a full member of their family unit. Marcus felt relief flood through the bond from Silthara. Furthermore, the arbitrator continued, we offer you the position of special envoy, with full diplomatic immunity and the resources of the council behind you. Your family will serve together as the first interspecies child protection unit. The chamber erupted in applause. Many representatives stood, showing their approval. Marcus felt tears in his eyes as he looked at his strange, wonderful family. That evening, they stood together on the observation deck of their new ship, the New Harmony. It was smaller than a military vessel, but equipped with the best medical facilities and communication equipment the council could provide. Are you nervous? Silthara asked, holding Marcus's hand. Terrified, Marcus admitted. We are going to see terrible things. We will put ourselves in danger. But we will help children, Kethren said, pressing close to them. Children? who need someone to protect them. Marcus looked out at the stars. Somewhere among them were kids who were scared and alone, just like Catherine had been. But now they would have advocates. A human who understood sacrifice, a Zelani who understood healing, and a child who understood what it meant to be saved. "I love you both," Marcus said. Through the bond, he felt Silthara's love flowing back to him, along with something new. The deep contentment of finally belonging somewhere. "I have something to tell you," Silthara said quietly. "The bond. It has changed us both. I can feel your human determination now. And you. I can feel more than I used to," Marcus finished. "Emotions are stronger. I can sense what others are feeling. A little." "Is this bad?" Catherine asked, worried. "No," Marcus said, lifting the boy into his arms. "It is perfect. We are becoming something new together." The ship's captain, a friendly Terran named Rodriguez, approached them. "Ambassador Chen? We have our first assignment. There are reports of child slavery in the Rigel system. The local government has requested council intervention." Marcus felt the familiar fire of determination rising in his chest, but now it was mixed with Silthara's compassion and Catherine's hope. "How many children?" Silthara asked. "Nearly 200, Captain Rodriguez said. "Different species, all very young." Catherine's small hand tightened in Marcus's. "We have to help them, Papa." Marcus smiled at the name. Papa. In any language, in any species, it meant the same thing. Someone who protects, who loves, who never gives up. "Yes," Marcus said. "We help them. All of them." As the new Harmony jumped to hyperspace, carrying its unusual family toward their first mission, Marcus thought about the moment that had started it all. A single choice, to protect a child he did not know. That choice had led him to love, to family, and to a purpose larger than himself. In his arms, Catherine fell asleep, safe and loved. Beside him, Silthara prepared medical supplies for the children they would soon rescue. And Marcus looked ahead to the stars, knowing that somewhere in the darkness, more children waited for someone to choose them, to protect them, to show them what family really meant. The beating he had taken for one small alien child had started something bigger than he ever imagined. Now they carried that same spirit of sacrifice and love to every corner of the galaxy, one rescued child at a time. In the end, that was what family meant. Not blood, or species, or tradition, but the choice to stand up for each other, no matter what the cost. And Marcus Chen, human xenobiologist turned galactic child protector, would not have it any other way.